Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started this evening. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Turner.
Here.
Alderman Rivera.
Present.
Alderman Florian.
Present.
Alderman Hayes.
Present.
Alderman Bolton.
Present.
Alderman Seeger.
Present.
Alderman Mosio.
Present.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Present.
Alderman Newsome.
Present.
Mayor Taylor.
Present.
You have a quorum, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This evening, our invocation will not be given by Pastor A.C. Pratcher, but it will be given by Alderman Kirkwood.
Can we bow our heads, please? Dear precious and Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for an opportunity to serve the city of Waukegan and the residents, oh Heavenly Father. We thank thee for all that you've given to us, oh Heavenly Father, throughout this year. As the holidays come about us, oh Heavenly Father, keep us safe. Keep all of our employees safe. Those who are first responders, oh Heavenly Father, continue to give them the knowledge and strength to stay out of harm's way. Lord, we ask that you continue to bless those who are less fortunate than we are. We ask these and other precious blessings in your Son, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, for being here for the October 17th City Council meeting. Again, you can pick up our council meetings online. We advise you to do so. We love when you come and watch our city council meetings. Some general comments this evening. One we discussed earlier, and we'll continue discussions on having a city manager and whether or not to take that to referendum. We will continue the conversation, but we talked about it in great length tonight, as we have talked about it other times. Tonight, we talked about a city manager, which would require a change in the form of government, which would go to referendum. We've talked about a city administrator before. That was actually voted down. So again, I will say, if we want to move the city forward, this is how we have these discussions. We keep moving forward and we keep talking about things, and we look at how they can save us money. I know we've had these discussions before, even with hiring a city engineer, and we've realized how much savings that has been, and I hope that we will continue to talk about how to take the community forward. Before I get started, I'm going to turn a discussion over to Corporate Counsel Stu about our 200 Julian. We've all seen some of the recent events that happened there. I want to clarify exactly where the city is with 200 Julian. We went into taking them to court because they were not following city ordinances and there wasn't a way to get them to follow city ordinances. So we decided to take them to court. We are not the only city in court with them, but I will let Corporate Counsel update you.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. Often when the attorney is speaking at City Council, it's to provide disappointing or troubling news. That is not the case tonight. I'm very proud to give you the update that I'm about to provide. Late this summer, the city filed an unsafe property lawsuit against the owners and operators of the Lakeside Tower at 200 Julian. Residents of the 4th Ward have known that 200 Julian was a troubled building plagued by inattentive management, insufficient maintenance, and completely lacking security for years. After a number of attempts to resolve the chronic mismanagement and disrepair through local adjudication, Mayor Taylor directed our office to file an unsafe property suit against Apex Waukegan LLC, the owner, and Integra Affordable Management, the operator of Lakeside Tower. Our complaint described the dangerous and unsanitary condition of the building and asked the court for emergency relief to address these issues. In addition, the city asked for the extraordinary remedy of receivership. In essence, we asked the court to take the operation of the building away from the owner and the current operator, and to appoint a responsible party to repair and manage the building. All rents would be collected by the receiver. All resident complaints would be addressed by them. That motion will be heard on November 3rd. In the meantime, we kept the pressure up to increase security and safety in the building. On-site security was implemented, and for a time, an on-site manager was in place. The court gave Apex a few weeks to address our concerns. Some things improved. The number of calls to our police decreased noticeably. But unfortunately, key life safety issues remained unaddressed. On Friday, after receiving a previously undisclosed report that the parking deck on the property required emergency shoring, the city filed an emergency motion demanding that Apex immediately address these conditions of the parking deck, resolve fire code violations, and do whatever it takes to get the second elevator in the tower operating. For weeks, if not months, there's only been one operating elevator in a tower that serves over 150 different units. It's been an impediment for first response. It has been an inconvenience for the residents, and it has been completely isolating for older and disabled residents, basically trapping them in the building. The court held it. We filed that motion just after noon on Friday. At 2 p.m., the judge gave us a hearing via Zoom. We took testimony from Building Commissioner Sellis, who canceled a previous personal appointment, Fire Marshal Todd Zupek, and most notably, some very brave residents who spoke under oath about the conditions that they had to live in every day and what had gotten better and all the things that had not. After hearing this testimony, the court filed a very strict order giving Apex and Integra 2 weeks to fix the problems that we had asserted. And the judge strongly implied that he'll consider Apex's failure to fix the second elevator, begin work on the parking garage, and address the outstanding fire code violations by November 3rd. Strong evidence that the management and operation of the building should be transferred to a receiver. I'd also like to note that since the filing of our case, the city and my co-counsel, Kelly Gandersky, have been speaking regularly with the management of HUD's Midwest region, Freddie Mac, which holds the mortgage on the 200 Julian property, and the Waukegan Housing Authority to devise a long-term solution to this issue that results in a building being safe, secure, and habitable place for all the residents. None of this is possible, though, just from our office. Kelly Gandersky from my office, who joined our firm in August, has done an amazing job fighting tirelessly day and night on calls against the defense counsel that's been hired by Integra, ensuring that they can no longer delay any further. But we've also received amazing support from Building Commissioner Sellis, Fire Marshal Zupek, and Chief Zupek. The mayor and the city council who have backed our efforts 100%. I want to especially thank Alderman Kirkwood, who has been a constant advocate for not only the residents of the building, but the residents of the block, who have been impacted constantly by the trash, the violence, the noise that have been associated, not necessarily with the residents of the building, but the activities that have been allowed to proliferate around the building by the neglect of the management. I also want to thank Mayor Taylor, who's made it clear that resolving these issues while ensuring that no one was put out on the street, that was a non-negotiable goal that she gave us. Finally, the residents who have spoken out again and again, many of whom have organized themselves into an effective and tenacious tenants organization. These residents have provided us with photos, videos, and as I said, even sworn testimony. And when you live in subsidized housing, testifying against your landlord, testifying against the people who could kick you out of the one place that you have in this world requires a lot of bravery. And I want to thank those people for doing that. Without these firsthand accounts, we would not have been able to make our case, and it's unlikely that this judge would have actually allowed us to take such aggressive action. I'm proud of the work that's being done on 200 Julian, and I want to thank the community for the pressure, and I want to thank the community for the support that they've given.
Thank you. I think we all know we had a community meeting with them at one point. Promises were even made during that meeting. I think deep down, I'd given them a chance over and over and over again. We had them in adjudication court. We had them, fining them. It just wasn't doing a lot. So, again, I will say, we feel up here that it is time to show that residents will not be treated like that in this city. So we are going forward with this. It is, as most of the aldermen know, it's costing us a lot of time and money to do this. But I think it shows that we care about our residents, and this will not be tolerated. It won't be tolerated here or anywhere else. Our residents will be treated with the respect and dignity that they deserve. I think that's all we're going to say about that because, again, we're still in court, and I want us to keep that in mind. November 3rd will be the hearing on the receivership, but we check in once a week with the judge every Friday. So I want to make sure that everybody understands some of our processes, that we've had some confusion with some of this, is ideally, if you have a problem in the city, if you have a problem with a street, you have a problem with a business license, please contact those departments individually. If that doesn't work, if you're not getting the satisfaction you deserve, please, at that point, call my office or call the supervisor of that department. But there's no way that all those calls can be answered without being directed. So we ask that you go through the individual department first because that's where it will ultimately end back at. So please do that method first. I want to congratulate the Waukegan High School teacher Helene Duda, who was honored as the Chicago Bears classroom legend, along with receiving a custom Bears jersey, a ceremonial football, and field passes for an upcoming Bears game. Ms. Duda, most importantly, received $1,000 that she can use for her classroom. It's her dedication to her students, her work to create safe spaces, and her focus on ensuring that mental health resources are accessible. So thank you to wonderful Ms. Duda. Lake County renters who have faced hardship during the COVID-19 pandemic may apply for assistance through the Lake County Rental Assistance Program. Additional information and applications are available at lakecountyil.gov/4578/Federal Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Waukegan Chamber of Commerce and the Waukegan to College is hosting a business after hours this Thursday at 410 Grand Avenue. This is an excellent way to meet other businesses, local politicians, not-for-profit agencies. So bring your business cards because they do have drawings. Waukegan's official trick-or-treat is Sunday, October 30th from 2 to 5. I want to clarify that Gurnee or Wadsworth area, you will also have Sunday from 2 to 5. Parts of Waukegan residents who live in Libertyville will be on Monday, October 31st from 4 to 8. The Waukegan Park District's Halloween Trail is Saturday, October 29th from 1 to 2:30 at Bowen Park. And this weekend kicked off all kinds of Halloween truck or treat and children's activities and parties, as well as the Day of the Dead activity workshops. You can find out more information by going to our city website at waukeganil.gov and look at the city calendar. Older kids and adults can get into the holiday spirit too with Waukegan Park District's Haunted Waukegan Tours given on Thursday, October 27th and Saturday, October 29th, and Three Brothers Theater, the Odyssey Transcription, which opens Friday the 21st and runs through November 12th. Toys for Tots registration opens today and remains open until December 5th. The giveaway is hosted by the Family First Center of Lake County and Stretches Sports Bar and Grill. Additional information and the registration link are available at facebook.com/smartiesprogram. The city is implementing an improved water billing system, and if you've signed up for e-billing in the past, you can get an email this week. The rollout of the new user-friendly portal will take place later this month. Also, many of you may have noticed that there's more time from the time you get your bill to the time you pay it. So that will cut down on people calling us saying that, you know, I've only gotten my bill and it's due tomorrow. This system has been vastly improved. We will have boxes in the lobby for the Cool Pantry and keeping families covered. Cool Pantry, we're looking for a collection of personal hygiene products, and keeping families covered is diapers and menstrual products. Last but not least, I want to remind everybody, we are now going into the winter. Please get your flu shots and, most importantly, your COVID-19 boosters. If you've been watching the news, COVID-19 is once again on the rise, and it's another variant, so many of you can get very sick. So please take this opportunity. If you haven't received your second booster, go get it. If you need the new booster, please go get it. That concludes Mayor's comments.
Mayor, can we have a qualification just on the Toys for Tots? What day is that?
Oh, from now until December 5th, and that's to register.
Oh,
So, is it December 4th? I think I said December 5th, didn't I? Okay, it's December 4th. And
Okay.
again, the two places are Family First Center of Lake County and Stretch's Bar and Grill. Okay, Madam Clerk?
Thank you. We have a number of proclamations tonight. The first one is October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Waukegan. Whereas domestic violence is a pattern of control in a relationship where one person uses coercion and violence to gain power and control over another. And whereas domestic violence is a serious, widespread, and hidden societal problem that crosses economic, racial, gender, and societal barriers. And whereas, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, over 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men have experienced severe physical violence by an intimate partner, and more than 1 in 3 women and more than 1 in 4 men will be victim of domestic abuse during their lifetime. And whereas 1 in 15 children are exposed to domestic violence, and 90% of these children are eyewitnesses to the violence, causing a lifetime of repercussions from the trauma, and being socialized into believing violence and abuse are normal, leaving them with a greater risk of perpetuating the cycle of violence. And whereas domestic violence costs billions of dollars a year in medical expenses and burial costs, police and court costs, shelters, foster care, and sick leave. And whereas abuse causes long-term damaging effects on survivors and their families, friends, and communities, and the impact of domestic violence is wide-ranging, directly affecting individuals and society as a whole, here in Waukegan, throughout the United States and the world. And it takes courage for a survivor to seek help. And whereas Waukegan supports organizations such as A Safe Place, which is the sole provider of services exclusively addressing domestic violence in Lake County, is committed to increasing public awareness of domestic violence and is sending a clear message that domestic violence will not be tolerated. And whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month provides an opportunity to learn more about preventing domestic violence, how to recognize the subtle signs of domestic abuse and violence, and to show support for victims and survivors. And now therefore be it resolved that Mayor Ann B. Taylor and members of the City Council do hereby proclaim October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and encourage our community to promote awareness and prevention of domestic violence through intervention, education, and advocacy. Adopted the 17th of October, 2022. On to the next one. The next one is Extra Mile Day, November 1st, 2022. Whereas Waukegan, Illinois is a community which acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And whereas Waukegan is a community which encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. And whereas Waukegan is a community which chooses to shine a light on and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who go the extra mile in order to make a difference and lift up fellow members of their community. And whereas Waukegan acknowledges the mission of Extra Mile America to create 550 Extra Mile cities in America and is proud to support Extra Mile Day on November 1st, 2022. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Mayor Ann B. Taylor and members of the City Council of Waukegan do hereby proclaim November 1st, 2022 to be the Extra Mile Day in Waukegan, and they collectively urge each individual in the community to take time on this day to not only go the extra mile in their life, but to also acknowledge all those who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, community, country, or world a better place. Adopted the 17th day of October, 2022. And in that vein, Mayor, we do have a couple of Extra Mile Awards for Waukegan. The first will be Chris Segrins. Chris, you want to come on up? Chris Segrins, this Extra Mile for Waukegan Award is in recognition of your work as a Waukegan Main Street volunteer, coordinating a volunteer team to plant and maintain flowers in the downtown Waukegan planters. Chris and her team did a wonderful job improving the city's look.
Why don't you bring up your team too, Chris? So for those of you who don't know, Chris and her team do all the planters and water all the flowers when we're all sleeping and we're relaxing, they're working. So I want to thank you on behalf of the city. This is such an important thing that we need to do to beautify our city, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. Thank you.
The city for their involvement this year also. They helped with
We're
watering.
we're always going to be involved in this. And Chris is part of our, is our public works director, and he is so into this. So thank you so much.
He was great to work with. Thank you.
Alderman, can we get a picture?
Right. Good team.
Okay, Alderman, we're looking here.
All right, Mayor, your next Extra Mile Award for tonight is for Jennifer Yonan. Jennifer Yonan. This Extra Mile for Waukegan Award is in recognition of her work as Executive Director of Youth Conservation Corps and being instrumental in alley cleanups as requested by council members. The YCC team did a wonderful job improving the city's look. We also have Bill Foltz, and we have Jennifer Cooper. Anyone from YCC? Come on up, come on up.
So tonight, we're honoring the leaders, and then the next time, we're going to honor the people who work so hard on our stuff. So we're kind of defining what I want the aldermen, they are so grateful for any help that they can have in their wards to complete it. So thank you so much. Did we get a picture yet? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm shaking hands and I'm not even paying attention. All right, you're all looking right here. One more. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor. We have two more proclamations. October is Crime Prevention Month in Waukegan. Whereas the vitality of Waukegan depends on how safe we keep our homes, neighborhoods, schools, workplaces, and communities. And whereas crime and fear of crime destroy our trust in others and in civic institutions, threatening the community's health, prosperity, and quality of life. And whereas people of all ages must be made aware of the dangers of crime and what they can do to prevent themselves and their families, neighbors, and co-workers from being harmed by crime. And whereas a personal injury, financial loss, and community deterioration resulting from crime are intolerable and require investment from the whole community. And whereas crime prevention initiatives must include self-protection and security, but they must go beyond these to promote collaborative efforts to make neighborhoods safe for everyone and to develop positive opportunities for young people. And whereas adults must invest time, resources, and policy support in effective prevention and intervention strategies for youth, and engage teens in programs to drive out crime in their schools, neighborhoods, and communities. And whereas effective crime prevention programs succeed because of partnerships with law enforcement, other government agencies, civic groups, schools, faith communities, businesses, and individuals as they help to nurture communal responsibility and install civic pride. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Mayor Ann B. Taylor and members of the City Council do hereby proclaim October as Crime Prevention Month and urge all citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, and businesses to invest in the power of prevention and work together to make Waukegan a safer and stronger community. Adopted the 17th of October, 2022. Last proclamation. October is Women's Small Business Month in Waukegan. Whereas small businesses support communities, employ local residents, and power a large portion of our local and the world's economy. And whereas Waukegan boosts a healthy community of women-owned businesses, contributing to the over 440,000 women-owned businesses in Illinois, which boosts the highest percentage of women owners in the world at 25%. And whereas in 1972, women only owned 4.6% of all businesses in the county. And as of today, women own 42% of all businesses, generating a revenue of $1.9 trillion and employing nearly 10 million people nationwide. And whereas in October 1988, President Ronald Reagan signed the historic H.R. 5050, the Women's Business Ownership Act, into law, increasing federal support for women-owned businesses and making it easier for women entrepreneurs to get working capital, business training, and assistance. And whereas women-owned small businesses continue to expand and grow despite outdated challenges from limited access to financing and capital opportunities that are provided to their male counterparts. And whereas by starting and sustaining businesses, exploring new markets, creating jobs, and stimulating economic growth, Waukegan women business owners play a vital role in our economy. And whereas Women's Small Business Month is set aside as a time to recognize the myriad achievements of our cities, states, and countries' women entrepreneurs, the positive impact they make on the jobs and the economy. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Mayor Ann B. Taylor and members of the City Council do hereby proclaim October as Women's Small Business Month in Waukegan and celebrate women-owned small businesses which contribute to Waukegan's value, prosperity, and economy, adopted the 17th day of October 2022. That concludes your proclamations.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, it's audience time.
All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm going to call the first 4 individuals who have signed up, and you have 3 minutes. Calvin Mathis, Adrian Diaz, Kevin Rayleigh, and David Reeves. Calvin Mathis, Adriana Diaz, Kevin Rayleigh, and David Reeves. You can go right ahead, Mr. Mathis, when you're ready.
Are you ready?
You go.
That's going to, okay.
You go, I'll do it.
Oh, okay, you get started, and I'll go when I see that clock start. Well, Mayor Taylor, I commend you and the city for doing your work on Julian Avenue. That's a good thing. Anything that helps the community, I'm all for. You mentioned the cost of doing the job, the time and effort. I would hope that it doesn't put the city out their way to help the less fortunate. You know, the money, I don't know where that comes about at. Everybody pays taxes and everybody should get good service. So I don't know if that was an oversight on your part or not, but, you know, just kind of noted that. And also let me say on the top end, and I listened to the prayer, and I do believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who reveals himself in and as the form of Jesus Christ. Yes, I do. That ain't going nowhere. I'm well into this Jesus thing. So, but one thing I will say, that if you're going to profess to love God, love Jesus, that you have these works in play as you're doing, helping the less fortunate, showing a little love. And as everyone knows, my plight, I guess, would be to also protect those who need the protection. Alderman Moe, you said a few months ago that the #1 priority of the city council should be public safety. Good. The problem is certain people, there's a double standard in the law, and we all know that. We don't have to talk about that, or we shouldn't. We need to talk about it. It needs to be addressed because too many lives are being lost at the hands of the people who are supposed to protect and watch over us. And they're not doing it. They're not equipped to do it. They just don't have the training, the temperament. If you look at the last video, just look at the videos. They speak for themselves. That young man, that young man that died, I would want to say to the police department, give the man a chance, or give the person a chance. Everybody has a family. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody in here has a family, problems in their family. It shouldn't be the death penalty. The young man shouldn't have gotten the death penalty because he was having a mental crisis. Marcellus Stinnett shouldn't have got the death penalty because his girlfriend made a mistake. But the mistake was caused by who? The Waukegan Police Department. It's cause and effect. We need better training for these officers. It just needs to be something done different. And Alderman Bowden, that's in your ward. You can do better. You can do way better.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Adrian Diaz?
Well, good evening to all of you guys. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of you guys for a wonderful job that you guys doing in Waukegan. And, you know, I've been resident for 32 years in the city. I live 1422 11th Street. I talked to Mr. Singer about my problem. You know, my kids right now, there are like 22, 23, and 25. So we have 6 cars total, and I have parking only for 3 cars. For all these years, I never have a ticket when I park in my cars in the street, and now I started having tickets. So I hope that we can find a solution for my problem, you know. I already talked to Mr. Singer, and I appreciate it for your help. And I believe that we're gonna have some solution with our problem. So I don't know where I go, but I think I found the right person. So, but thank you for listening, Mike.
Thank you, sir. Kevin Rayleigh?
Good evening. My question or my issue topic is one of my neighbors called for requesting help because we have a school, Edith Middle School. They take it upon themselves to close down the roadways, diverting traffic onto the smaller streets. Well, he calls multiple people. They refer him to the Alderman, which falls into the 5th Ward, which is, as far as I know, Alderman Newsom. He said that the Alderman came out and didn't address this situation, but pointed out the same thing what the other gentleman talked about, the parking. Well, the problem with the parking with all those cars is what's causing a problem because the school is directing traffic on the smaller streets. So now the Alderman then goes and gets the police department to come out there, and now we're starting getting the citations. I can't even park in front of my own dwelling based on this alternate parking. There are no signs posted anywhere talking about alternate parking. Read the policy on it. It's primarily for winter months, for snow removal, ice removal. I understand it talks about abandoned vehicles, but it is something for snow removal. We don't have that issue right now. We call for help, but now we're getting backlash. You know, that's not right for us. That y'all are supposed to be here to help us, but we're getting backlash calling for help. Now, the police, they come out there because the officer, it is a selective enforcement. I have video where the officer comes out on our streets, enforces alternate parking, but then passes 4 or 5 other cars on another street in another neighborhood. Selective enforcement. I don't hold the officer responsible because I don't believe they want to do it. They're out there because they're catching heat from the management. Management's catching heat from the aldermans. So we need to be fair. If we're going to enforce alternate parking, then we need to hit these higher class neighborhoods as well because it's not being done. I've got video of it. My neighbor has video of it. So that's my issue with this. So that's the only thing I want help for. Let me park in front of my own dwelling. I got it. When there's snow, ice, that's one thing. Or put signs up, educate the people because I come out and I got parking tickets on my car. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. David Reeves.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and the council members. My name is Dave Reeves. By further way of introduction, to clarify the comments I'm going to make, I am a retired deputy chief of police. During my law enforcement experience, I also ran a traffic enforcement division. Part of that job required me to conduct traffic studies. Now, the heart of what I want to speak about is alternate parking. At this time, I have not been able to find, besides snow removal, why the city would use alternate parking. It is cumbersome on the citizens of the city. Most people are not aware when it's enforced. Waukegan's own website says it's been in place for 30 years and is used for snow removal purposes and to clearly help identify abandoned vehicles. Now, I know Mr. Rayleigh mentioned that there was a problem because of street closures around the school in the morning and afternoon. This threw heavy traffic going down side streets not designed for that kind of traffic. These vehicles are moving at a high rate of speed. Last week there was an accident that occurred because people are parking at the crosswalks within 3 feet of a stop sign in front of fire hydrants trying to drop their children off because that street's being shut down. I do know that when the complaint was made about it, our city council member came down to observe. I applaud the council member for that. I think it was wrong to immediately come up and make a recommendation, hey, alternate parking is not enforced. I do know that the morning the council members showed up, they were doing things correctly at the school, which implies they knew a visit was coming. After the council member left that afternoon, they started shutting streets down again. This is dangerous for the children, it's dangerous for the people in the street. I like where I live. I have really good neighbors. But this is forcing people. I have neighbors that are now talking about moving to Wisconsin. And the issue that they broach is the alternate parking and what they deem to be harassment. I think the issue needs to be readdressed. And I thank you for the time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next three will be Clyde McLemore. Margaret, did you sign this? Oh, I couldn't read your handwriting. Oh, I thought it was you. Margaret Carrasco and Rayon Edwards. Clyde McLemore, Margaret Carrasco, and Rayon Edwards.
Clyde McLemore, Black Lives Matter, Lake County. Here we go again. I finally received my FOIA on agreement of the settlement with Tina Selena. Tina resigned as the Waukegan financial director because she refused to work for the mayor, who was spreading lies about her. She asked for sick and vacation pay, which was due to her, was about $10,000. That's all she requested. But the mayor, you fought her so hard, you cost the taxpayers $144,957.25. Plus, she won her settlement for $98,500 and another $28,693.33 to Lesson Legal Group, of a total of $127,193.33. Now, you pay the city attorney a salary, and all Tina wanted was $10,000, but the citizens of Waukegan have to pay $173,650.58. You playing with the taxpayers' money. To you, it's like monopoly money. There are other litigations where you allow the city to contract other attorneys, costing taxpayers money. You are not paying for those misjudgments out of your pocket. We are, what you paying a city attorney for? Oh, he's trying to get the program on the board docs that the city can top voters can be alderman and the city administrator, which is saying if this passed, your alderman won't be from your community. I'm not going to speak about last council meeting. However, the video went viral, and I just don't settle easy. After the first year in office, your chief of staff called me and asked me, what did you promise me? I told him, you promised us transparency. He asked me, what do I want? I told him I want nothing but the mayor to do the right thing. Today I changed that. I want you gone. You and Wayne to move on, go to your lily white world. Ladies are out here in the political field are doing some positive and great work. You being the first female mayor of Waukegan is a disgrace to these women around the world. Well, Chief, I know she ain't like what I said, so you might as well come on, take me to jail.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Margaret Carrasco.
Good evening. It's going to be 4 weeks since Waukegan's Fiestas Patrias Parade. An awesome event for the community, except this year we had a horrible incident occur. I have with me here the victim, Mr. Jesus Uribe, a large-sized man, strong man, who was beaten viciously by two, according to the police report, aggressors, Jose and Pedro Valdovinos. I brought with me the whips. A ver, enséñale, don't say. Okay, el whip. Muéstraselo. Okay, so that you can touch it and see. Jesús, llévaselo. El otro, en este lado. So you have an idea. I mean, we heard about it years ago, to be beaten by two large men on top of a horse, and you're laying on the ground there. They knocked off his glasses. It is, it's horrible, okay? Unfortunately, he had to be taken to the hospital, okay? Unfortunately, he was assigned, the investigator, Dominique Capoluti. We've been calling him, several members, because he hasn't been arrested. We said he's going to be arrested that day, later day, next day, week, 4 weeks has gone by. And at one point, he stated to the victim, that he has 50 other cases before he can get to it, okay? He makes about $100,000 to protect Waukegan residents. He has been employed for the city for a long time and has cost taxpayers a lot of money. We're talking about money lawsuits for giving false testimony in federal court. So he's banned now. According to, and as we know, the men in blue, how they like to talk, okay, he's made money on the side with his expertise that he's learned with his side gig he has, okay? According to the men in blue, he's bragged to them that he arrogantly had some sweet deal where he's allowed to be employed in another state while residing here. Okay, the ordinance, my understanding, ordinance in the city of Waukegan makes it mandatory for officers to reside within 30 miles of city limits. If you go on internet, you quickly find this political party in Florida, which claims that he has been registered to vote since December 28th of 2018 in precinct 519. When you check with the state of Illinois to see if his business is registered, it comes out empty, nothing there. I went.
Thank you, Ms. Carrasco. Thank you.
Invite him to your office the next 3 days.
Edwards. Thank you.
Good evening. This is a prime example on why you need more police officers. It's a prime example. Y'all are making it so hard for this community to even want to deal with the police. You see it? They're getting beat up because they don't have no help. They about do got 150 backlog cases that they have to deal with because it's only about 75 of them. But we want to give out $200,000 salaries. I applaud you guys on the amazing job y'all are doing with 200 Julian Street. But you're not going to make me believe that giving 200 Julian Street to the Waukegan Housing Authority is going to be the answer. They can't even take care of Barwell. If you go knock on them people's door, half of them people in that community don't even know who Charles Chambers is. Go over there to Macquarie, half of them don't even know who Charles Chambers is. Try calling the office 5 days out the week. You might get them 1 out of 5. We are paying for his education for him to be all over the world, and we got issues going on in a brand new complex, a complex that ain't even been up a little bit over a year, and we done had how many shootings there? When do they go over there and deal with the residents? Because sometimes I feel like I'm the manager. Again, y'all so lost because y'all sitting behind on these seats and y'all are not out there talking to the people. It's really, really bad. And we know that if the Waukegan Housing Authority take over Julian Street, you know you're gonna have to dismiss that whole building. There's almost impossible for you to go up in there and fix that building without tearing it down because it's so tore up. But have we thought about that? Where's all them people gonna go? We got somewhere to go in the city already. So those people are gonna have to be outsourced. What about their kids who's already in a school who already have friends in the community. So now you're going to bust that up, and they're going to have to go God knows where. All I'm saying is, y'all got to give a little bit more thought to the things that you guys are doing. And you got to start weighing this. You got to start asking yourself, if you was one of those people in that building, what would you want the people to do? I am imploring y'all to find some investors to put into that building, not HUD. They is not the answer, because HUD had that building already. They have been giving them money, and them people ain't been doing nothing with the money that HUD has been giving them, and HUD haven't done absolutely nothing in God knows how many years. Please, y'all, think about these things. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, that concludes audience time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Would the Alderman like to put everything under the consent agenda, but we would pull out,
Speaking about new business?
yes, we would combine new business with consent.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to pull out
F, G, and H?
F, G, and H, yes.
Yeah, I make that motion.
Can we also hold out the minutes?
Yes, we can do that.
Regards F, G, and H, Madam Mayor, I'd like to remove them from the agenda. I don't think we need to discuss it.
Can you hold on for just a minute, because I was listening to something else? I'm sorry, what were you saying?
So we already talked about, or you guys did, in the committee, that we were going to hold F, G, and H in committee. So I'd like to just remove these all together. No need to discuss them at this point here in this meeting.
Pulling out
So let's just remove them from
F, G, and H.
No, we're just going to, yeah, we're just going to remove them out of this agenda.
Right.
Okay? Thank you.
And then, so we wanted to also pull item A out. And was there something else?
Yeah, yes, on item 4D, the vendor payments, we're going to remove line item 97213, two payments to Wickler Zulukowski. We're just going to, we want a little bit of clarification on that. So we're going to probably put that in 2 weeks.
Okay, so I'm pulling out items A and D and removing F, G, and H. Okay.
I'm sorry, Mayor, did you say we're removing F, G, and H?
We already talked about
Okay. It sounds very muffled down here, so I can hardly hear you.
Under new business, F, G, and H.
Thank you.
So I'm making a motion to take new business and put it with consent agenda minus those items.
Make the motion.
Okay, I have a first. Can I have a second? Second. Okay. Alderman Turner, Alderman Hayes. Okay. Item B, resolution approving and authorizing the proper city officials to enter into a professional services agreement with Nicole Large per section 2-4-458I5 professional services for professional consulting services regarding researching, writing, management of local, state, federal grant funding and opportunities. This matter was presented in the Finance and Purchasing Committee this evening, October 17th, 2022. Item C, motion to approve the regular payroll dated October 7th in the total amount of $1,670,900.34. Item E, motion to approve miscellaneous payroll, PBLC, holiday payback, comp time cash out, final payment, retro, IAFF, uniform allowance dated October 7th in the total amount of $129,152.94. Item F, resolution authorizing the proper city officials to purchase maintenance and professional services and to place orders for professional services for fortress data management in an amount not to exceed $125,000. This matter was presented at the Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting on October 17th, 2022. Item G, a resolution authorizing a waiver of a bid and spending authority for a not to exceed amount of $50,000 to Northern Illinois Public Safety Training Academy for firefighter training. This matter was presented at the Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting on October 17th, 2022. Item H, a resolution authorizing the proper city officials to approve a contract from FSS Technologies LLC to replace an old radio network system for monitoring fire alarms at a no cost to the city. This matter was presented at the Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting on October 17, 2022. Item I, a resolution authorizing the proper city officials to increase spending authorization from $62,000 to $200,000 for commodities, maintenance, and professional services from CDW Government. This matter was presented at the Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting on October 17, 2022. Item J, a resolution authorizing the proper city officials to increase spending authorization from $100,000 to $200,000 for professional services with ML Staffing. This matter was presented at the Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting on October 17, 2022. Item K, a resolution authorizing the proper city officials to approve the acceptance of the fiscal year 2021 staffing for adequate fire and emergency response called the SAFER Grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security /FEMA. This matter was presented at the Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting on October 17, 2022. Item L, a resolution authorizing the mayor to submit an application for the Bridge Improvement Program discretionary grant program funds regarding the Genesee Street Bridge. This matter was presented at the Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting on October 17, 2022. Item M, a resolution authorizing the proper city officials to continue purchasing computers and commodities from Amazon.com Business Prime per Section 2-458, Item I-7 of the City Code in a not-to-exceed amount of $92,000. This matter was presented at the Finance and Purchasing Committee meeting on October 17, 2022. Item A, a resolution approving and authorizing the proper city officials to retroactively approve spending authority per Section 2-458-I-2 bona fide emergency to Campanella and Sons in the amount of $9,151,095. This matter was presented at the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee meeting on October 17, 2022. Item B, a resolution authorizing or approving and authorizing the proper city officials to approve spending authority in excess of $25,000 per Section 2-458-I-7 good faith favor with Burris Equipment for an estimated amount of $107,000. This matter was presented at the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee on October 17, 2022. Item D, a resolution approving and authorizing the proper city officials to approve a resolution for a change order for spending authority per Section 2-458I-5 high degree of skill and expertise for $5,000 with Interstate Power. This matter was presented at the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee on October 17, 2022. Item E, a resolution approving and authorizing the proper city officials to enter into a contract with Baxter Woodman per Section 2-458-I-4 professional services for Lake County SMC proposal assistance for an amount not to exceed $9,950. This matter was presented at the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee meeting on October 17, 2022. That is all for this motion. Any questions to the motions? Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mosio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item A, Alderman Florian, you had a question to that.
Yes, ma'am. I tried to send an email today, and with our phones not connecting, sometimes it doesn't work. Under my comments for the last meeting, it said I said my dumpster was on Saturday the 21st. It's Saturday the 22nd. So I wanted to make sure that got corrected. The 21st is a Friday. So I just wanted to make sure that correction was made. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. With that said, can I have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from Monday, October 3rd, 2022?
A motion.
Alderman Rivera, I'm sorry. Second?
I'll second.
Alderman Florian. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio. Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item D, did you talk about this in committee at all, or? Because what there is there's a question into one of the items on the bill run.
So what we would propose is that the vendor payments be approved, and I apologize, I need to pull up the wording here. Vendor payments be approved with the exception of line 497213 in the total amount of $1,805,187.75. Someone wants to $1,805,187.75. If someone would like to make a motion basically saying what I just said.
I'll make the motion.
Alderman Turner is the first, a second. Alderman Newsome. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk. Well, I guess that's just for the motion, so, yeah, so we've changed the amount, so we just need the roll call, I'm sorry.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio. Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, there being no ordinances, Alderman time.
Alderman Turner.
Thank you, ma'am. Excuse me. Leaf pick, excuse me. This year's leaf pickup schedule has been published, and it's out on the city website. I will also be sending that out in an email and I've posted it on my social media account as well. I'll continue to do that for the 5th and 6th ward, if you don't mind, Madam Alderman. Well, for the 6th ward, our first leaf pickup will be Wednesday and Thursday, October 26th and 27th. Okay, and Edie, Alderman Newsome, will speak to her ward when it's her turn. Remember that the leaves should not be pushed or raked into the street, but at the curb line in your parkway. And the city comes by with a big vacuum cleaner and sucks them up, right? But don't put them in the street, please. Thank you. Alternate parking is in effect year-round, and it's coincidental that two gentlemen came up and spoke about that. And they actually spoke about two issues. One is the alternate parking, and one is the streets being shut down, excuse me, by the school district. We have a similar problem at North School in the 6th ward, which impacts traffic in both the 6th and the 4th wards, particularly on Franklin County, Corey, 1st Street, 4th Street, 2nd Street, and North Avenue. And I don't know, I wasn't aware, Mayor, if we had an agreement with the school district that they could just shut the, so we need to have that discussion. It's something that had been in the back of my mind, and I don't know, Alderman Kirkwood, if you were aware of that, but that traffic is flowing, is being redirected. You know, they're shutting down Franklin Street, and a lot of that traffic is going through your ward on Corey, into my ward on 1st and 2nd Street, et cetera. So we should have some conversations around that. And so, yeah.
I have the problem at Edith Middle School.
Okay, so maybe we can have a little tete, how do you say that? And then, but still reminding folks about the alternate parking. It is in effect year-round from midnight to noon. Even number days, you park on the even side of the street, and odd number days on the odd side of the street. And I'll tell you, it is effective in helping us to identify cars that have been abandoned, they're dysfunctional, or in many cases they're stolen. We recover a number of stolen vehicles in Waukegan because of this alternate parking. When a neighbor notices, hey, there's a car there, it's been there 6 weeks, it hasn't moved, right? Also be aware that there's a process if a car is not, if it's abandoned or it's, it's not moved, they can't just come and tow it, right? So they come out, they identify it, they run the plate, they run the VIN, they try to make contact with the registered owner. They write a ticket. They can only write a ticket every 3 days. So they write the first ticket on Monday, the second ticket on Thursday, and then I think after that they can tow at some point. Happy news, the Waukegan Lions Club, Mr. George Sanchez of Stereo Plus down in Green Bay contacted me this evening on my way to City Hall and advised me that his team from the Lions Club is going to be doing a cleanup of the walking trail between Washington and Sunset Streets. And they're going to do that on Saturday, October 28th. They're going to provide their own bags and pickup sticks and such, and they'll just, the trash that they collect, they're going to leave it at intersecting streets, so at Grand, at Glenflora. And then we've already coordinated with Director Garland. He'll have a team go around on Monday, the following Monday, and pick up those bags. Finally, I did have my ward meeting on Saturday. We also had our dumpster drop or pickup dumpster drop off, which was a great success. We filled 2 dumpsters and very happy and satisfied with that, as are the neighbors. Had the ward meeting, which I'll send out a recap on that through, I'll post in the social media and blast email for those who missed it. Some interesting statistics and information that I made available to the ward. So I think that's all I have for tonight. I want to thank everyone for their attendance and attention. Thank
Alderman Rivera.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First, I would like to offer my condolences to all the Waukegan families who have lost a loved one. Special condolences go out to Irma and Tony Berrios, who lost their youngest son, Sergio, unexpectedly. As indicated by Alderman Turner, the leaf pickup schedule is out. Both the 7th and the 8th ward share dates, so I will let my colleague share those dates, as she has already written them down. Also, just a reminder, please, lock your cars. Don't leave any valuables in the car. Turn on your porch lights. Please be mindful of your neighbors. And when you're driving home tonight, watch your speed. One other comment that I would like to make is that, and I brought this up before, but I really think we do need to have some sort of a city publication. I don't know if that's something that it is 3 times a year, 2 times a year, once a year, but information such as like the alternate parking ordinance changes, updates, those are the kinds of things that we should be communicating at large, so there is less confusion when it comes to situations like that.
That's already being worked on.
Awesome.
Already in the process.
Look at that. All right. Well, with that said, thank you everyone for coming, and God bless.
Alderman Florian.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So as Alderman Rivera indicated, the leaf pickup for the 7th and 8th ward is on the same days, October 24th and 25th, which is next week. The leaves aren't really falling yet, though, so that first pickup, I think we were first last year, too. We maybe need to talk about us getting down on the list, Chris. I don't know how much they'll be picking up that first week, but anyway, it is October 24th and 25th, and then November 7th and 8th, and then November 21st and 22nd. And as always, it does depend on when the leaves fall. It does depend on the weather. It depends on how long it takes them to get done with the wards that were the day before. So, don't hold us to this exactly. This is kind of a guideline, but and I want to also coordinate this with the alternate parking. I don't think anybody mentioned this, that this is another reason we do alternate parking is for leaf pickup, because I can't tell you, I've been surprised about many things being an alderman, but I never knew how much people loved their leaf pickup. And when they can't get to their leaves because there's a car there, it's a problem. So as much as people complain about the alternate parking, we just had a crackdown in my ward, my neighborhood actually. There's very curvy streets in my neighborhood, and when you park on both sides, I don't even know if a fire truck could get through there, let alone another vehicle. We had 2 accidents in my subdivision in the last 2 days where they took out light poles, and one was a light pole and a fire hydrant. And the speed limit is only 25, Alderman Rivera. So, you know, I realize that alternate parking is annoying to some people. I'm lucky, I have a driveway, I don't have to use the street to park. But I think once you become aware of it, I would think it would be relatively easy to remember to just jog back and forth, and it goes with the day on the calendar. And anyway, that's all I'll say about that. I'm having a dumpster this coming Saturday, the 22nd, as I said earlier, from 8 to about 11:30, right in front of Mid Lane in the parking lot. It's easy in, easy out. I hope the residents of the 8th Ward will be able to take advantage of that. I want to talk a little bit about some of the things were mentioned earlier about when we had the brief discussion about city manager. I understand the concern about educating voters. However, unfortunately, we do not have 100,000 voters in Waukegan. We might have 100,000 citizens, but the last aldermanic election, 5,586 people voted. The highest total was in the 7th Ward, Alderman Rivera. The next highest total was in the 9th Ward, Alderman Hayes. And then the next highest total was the 6th Ward, Alderman Turner. So 979 in the 7th, well, I guess actually the 9th Ward is less. 890 in the 9th, and then 851 in the 6th. All the way down to only 320 people in the 1st Ward. So I realize it's daunting to think about trying to talk to 300 people, but we have to do this when we run for election anyway. And it's certainly not 100,000 people, unfortunately. Even the mayor's race, the last mayor's race a year and a half ago, we had 6,561 people vote. That's it. 6,500 people decided who our mayor was going to be. So it's not impossible for us to get this information out, is I guess what my point is. And then one other thing, you know, the money came up again. I'm going to repeat myself here, but we spend over $1 million to run our fire department. We spend over $1 million to run our police department, and I'm talking about just the chiefs and the deputy chiefs. I'm not talking about the whole rank and file here. Over $1 million for just the chiefs and their deputy chiefs. And that's for one department. The mayor's responsible for the whole city, as Alderman Hayes alluded to earlier, 500 employees. I don't understand why we can't spend $500,000 on the mayor's office. Tonight, we just spent $180,000 on new employees, and nobody even asked a single question about it up here. $180,000 tonight, just boom, just like that. I mean, the one wasn't an employee. I'll accede, Alderman Newsom. It was a temporary staffing position, but nonetheless, $180,000 spent on, and that doesn't count the new firemen that we hired, because I didn't even want to go there, but we pick and choose what we worry about, and it's frustrating. We will never have a professionally led city unless we have a professional person running the city, in my opinion. So that's all I have.
Alderman Hayes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk and Alderman Florian, for that information. It's very helpful and eye-opening. A couple of things. So I got a call late last night about some attempted burglaries over off Lakehurst Road, and it's not the first time that it's happened. So it's being looked into, but I would just caution the residents of those apartment complexes to just be aware at all times if you're leaving for work early or coming home late, or really at any point during the day when you're going out to your cars or doing whatever it is you're doing outside. My message would be call the police first, but email the property management company, create a record of it, and push the property management company to enact greater security precautions, or to at least be aware that the issues are taking place. The best way to do that is to send an email so that you have a trail of the correspondence. Please call me. I immediately reached out to the police last night. Will continue to do so. It was well received by the police that they will do what they can to step up patrols. But, you know, just like everywhere else in the city, crime is an issue. And the police, I know, the department is doing the best it can to address crime throughout the city. So I would just say to the residents, I hear you, please continue to call me, but you have a property management company. Push on the property management company to protect you. And then call me and I will do anything I can to help. I'm happy that the city manager issue is being discussed again. I'm happy that we're going to be discussing it at each and every meeting. I will make myself available to go to any ward to meet with any number of individuals. It can be one person. We can sit in your living room and have a cup of coffee and talk about the city manager position, the pluses, the minuses. I'm happy to answer any questions. I am happy to have a discussion with anybody, whether they're for it or they're against it, just to create awareness and to educate people about the benefits of having a city manager, and then answer any questions. I'm not going to go door to door to try to convince you that it's the best thing. I will, well, I'll take that back. I will go door to door to try to convince you it's what the city needs. But please call me. Please invite me to your ward. Please invite me to your home. I will gladly come out, meet with you, and talk through it. I'd like to thank some of the departments recently that I've reached out to. Public Works, the police department, the building department, everybody's just been really responsive. Sometimes they can help me out, sometimes they can't, but they're really, really responsive. And I think that people come to city council and they stand at the podium and they constantly tell us what an awful job we're doing and how bad the city is, and it just gets lost. We did have some compliments tonight about 200 Julian and some of the other departments, but it gets lost how hard people are working day in and day out to try to make the city a better place. And I think it should be recognized more often. So I see the police reports that come through. The police are very, very busy, and they are doing a very good job. Public Works, the building department, everybody, fire department, you guys are doing great. So thank you very much. Halloween's coming up. I would just ask that everybody be safe, everybody drive slow. I know that is Alderman Rivera's platform, but it is absolutely critical. Kids are out, they're running around, they're excited, they're all hopped up on sugar. Just drive carefully. Put your brights on if you need to. It would be just awful if something happened to kids that are out trick-or-treating, running around in dark costumes or whatever the case may be. So exercise some caution around Halloween. And I know that the mayor's office will put this out, but there is a Halloween Fun Fest coming up on the 30th. Some flyers were handed out tonight at the Boys and Girls Club. So if you can attend, donate, find out how to get involved. It's a really, really good cause, and the Boys and Girls Club is trying desperately to include everybody and do the best job to leverage their resources to provide and create special holidays and resources for the kids in Lake County. So that is all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Bolton.
Yes, on tonight, it was passed out to all aldermen. I want you to put the camera on this. The Lake County Treasurer sent out a tax bill and collects and indicating how our funds are distributed for the Lake County Tax District. And if you notice on this, and hopefully all our citizens will get a copy of this, the school district gets 69% of our dollar. The city and villages get 9%. Lake County gets 7%. Fire gets 3%. Forest Preserve gets 3%. Our parks get 3%, and our township gets 2%. If you want to know how your tax dollars is spent, make sure you seek out and get a copy of this. Now, with that being said, I welcome anyone to talk to me about city manager as well, and I'm glad that our citizens, our constituents, going to hopefully play a part in this, and I definitely reiterate the fact that you definitely should be educated about this as well as ourselves. So I welcome that. as well as any debate, like you say, every week on this subject. We definitely need to talk about it. And we definitely need to understand how Article 5 and Article 3 works. And definitely, I like that point that was made. We need to make sure that our department heads are fully staffed and that we also have enough police. So incidents like some of our constituents had mentioned, we don't repeat the same mistakes again with our police. And for the first ward, November 1st and 2nd, there will be a leaf pickup. And I definitely want to congratulate and acknowledge YCC, who has this past summer helped clean our alleys, cut back trees. You know, I just got an opportunity to see them, how they serve our community. And I also want to acknowledge Public Works, because they were very instrumental in making that fact. I don't know Eddie's name, but he really took the lead on that. What's Eddie's last name? Help me out, you all. Thank you. He was very instrumental in being a role model to these young people and giving them an opportunity to turn their lives around. And also, I send my condolences to those that have lost their loved one and that are suffering. And as you know, I get calls every week. I'm out there in the ward, whether you see me or not. And sometimes I'm out there by myself and seeing our senior citizens walking side by side, those who are struggling, those that have experienced trauma, and also have experienced legal issues and whatever. So from cleaning the alley to walking the journey, I am there. So thank you very much for allowing me to share. Thank you.
Alderman Seeger.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone that attended the council meeting tonight with us. It really helps out. Okay. Leaf pickup for the 2nd ward is November 6th, or November 2nd and 3rd, along with 1st ward and 9th ward. November 16th and 17th, 1st, 2nd, and 9 on both those days. And November 30th, 1st, 2nd, and 9 wards, and December 1st. Those are the leaf pickup dates. I've got extra papers if anybody wants a copy of this. Also, I'd like to, with that trick or treat coming up, I don't know how to slow these cars down. I see these cars coming through these subdivisions 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. Where are you going? What are you doing? I seen them drag racing right down Lewis Avenue the other day. What is this? I don't understand it. You hit a child, you know what? You'll feel it the rest of your life, and it affects everyone. And I've seen it happen. So slow the cars down. I'm asking, I'm pleading with you. Slow them down. Thank you. Have a good evening. Stay safe.
Alderman Mosio.
A couple things. Point of clarification on this that was handed out. This is your property tax. This is just your property tax. It's not totally accurate. These percentages are different by townships too. So this is a generalization. The breakdown will be a little bit different depending on which township you live in. So it's a generalization, but it's not quite as accurate. The city manager thing, we batted that out a little bit. Again, I'll just reiterate what Alderman Hayes says. Anybody can call me. We can talk about it. I wish it was an easy situation. You want it or not? But there's other two things that are hitched to that wagon make it a little bit difficult, but hopefully we can educate the people and they can make an informed decision or whatever happens. But as always, anybody can call me. I'll meet you anytime. Email me, Facebook, whatever. You know how to get a hold of me, and we'll go from there. Have a good night.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. As far as leaf pickup in the 4th Ward, It will begin on October 31st and November 1st and continue on November the 14th and 15th, as well as November 28th and 29th. Please check your area out. Make sure it's not in the street, not in plastic bags, but right on the edge of the parkway so that it doesn't block, and also make sure cars are not blocking the pickup. Also, once again, as far as the change of government, we want to make sure that everyone is informed what they're going to be voting for, regardless of the number of people that have voted in the prior elections. I think that we need to work on notifying those individuals the importance of what we're getting ready to undertake. Also, in terms of a ward meeting, I'll get information out to you regarding a joint ward meeting in the next week. Also, we'll have some cleanup areas in 200 Julian and on Butcher Street. Once again, I want to congratulate the YCC program. They did an outstanding job this summer, certainly in the 4th Ward. Want to continue to do that. And also, certainly, the individuals that live at 200 Julian is long overdue that they are treated with the utmost respect and live in an area where they don't have to worry about constant disruption and violence and inhabitable ways of living. So we need to keep the pressure on that situation. I thank the mayor and the building commissioner and those individuals that have been involved in that situation. We just need to make sure we keep the pressure on and don't let up. Thank you.
Alderman Newsom.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Excuse me. COVID is still out there, and so is colds and things, so be careful, and as the mayor stated, get your shots, be watchful. I also want to thank YCC for the work that they did in the 5th Ward along with Public Works, as they do every year in the alleys in the 5th Ward. An awesome job. And Mr. Eddie coordinating everything, and Mr. Chris, I appreciate all your help and assistance. The schedule for the leaf pickup for the 5th Ward, the first date will be next Wednesday, October the 26th, and Thursday, October the 27th. I've gotten out a few flyers. I will have this posted on my social media as well, and continuing to go door to door to make sure those that are not able to get them offline, that you actually have a copy in your hand that you can have at your home. With that being said, thank you. Have a good night.
Mayor, I have just one other thing. Several of the aldermen attended the Puerto Rican Society scholarship for Montano, and I think that was a great event. Many of us was there on Saturday. At least 5 of us was there, plus the clerk and the assistant clerk representing the city. It was an outstanding event. I want to make sure that we
Congratulate them.
Same with Mano to Mano. They did an outstanding job. They really did.
On the 58th annual.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I will motion.
Alderman Rivera, second. Come on, Alderman Mosio, I need your second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great
No.
evening.
I want to